I'd done a video where I had replaced the stock stereo unit with the cheapest CarPlay radio on Amazon. In doing so, I had discovered that the speakers in this car are actually both broken up front. It wasn't one of the several problems with the radio. In testing, I had determined this to be true using a test speaker directly wired to the door. I didn't want to replace these stock speakers with new stock speakers. I wanted to go with aftermarket. This is going to require an alternative method for installation. We're going to do that now, so let's get started. We're going to be using the driver's door in this example. You can see that there's aftermarket switches for the windows on this car. There's also manual mirrors on this car as well. The switch is normally seen in the door is not over here, but that's okay. We're only dealing with the speaker. I'll start by pulling the plastic trim for the mirror adjustment. Then I'll carefully pry down this tab behind the handle to remove this cover to expose this screw. Within the armrest is another cover exposing two more screws. There are two retainer clips in the outer portion of the door molding. The inner part of the retainer clip is pulled outward, and that will allow the outer portion of the clip to then be removed. The lower clip is also removed in the same manner. This top screw is then removed from behind the door handle. Along with the two screws that are found by the armrest. The door panel is then gently pulled away, separating the fur clips from the door. The door panel is then lifted up and off the window ledge and the lock mechanism, releasing it from the door. The original speaker is fastened with a bolt as well as a metal locking clip. Upon removing the bolt, I still need a flathead screwdriver to pry the speaker off of the door. And here it snaps off. I'm able to pull it to the side. And now pulling this fur clip out, this is the cable stress relief, and finally the connection into the speaker. I use a screwdriver to pop this connector off without damaging it, as I'm going to be reusing it. With that removed, I put the old speaker to the side and temporarily connect my test speaker into the circuit so I could evaluate that all the connectivity from the radio to that connector is working correctly. The stock speakers have a mount built into them. We'll use a conversion kit for the aftermarket speakers as required. So I had to pick up this right here, this conversion kit, and this works very good. It does require modification. It's not drop-in, but it does work well. So here it is sitting alongside. I got some CH6530 three-ways that I'm going to use. And these speakers are red, so you know they're going to sound good. All the inner mounts right here will need to be cut off for these size speakers. Those mounts are for small diameter speakers, we could see. A Dremel makes quick work of those inner plastic tabs. There's a bit of a detent in the plastic molding that provides somewhat of a guide for the cutting bit of the Dremel, making this process somewhat easier. After which everything is then cleaned up with a file. The mount now fits perfectly on the speaker. Looking from overhead, all the holes line up very nice. I'll use a screw and a nut with a star washer to grip the plastic, not the provided screws. Came out good, and this has a narrower profile than the original, so I don't foresee any problems. Also bought the GM speaker wire adapter Metra 72-4568, allowing aftermarket speakers to be installed without cutting the original harnesses. This speaker is now complete, ready for installation. The other one is done in the exact same manner. First thing I want to do is hit that connector with deoxit or a comparable electronics connector cleaner. We're now going to plug the car's connector into that pigtail installed into the speaker. Next, I want to wrap a length of this bundle back on itself so that I could get a cable tie around it. This new mount, this aftermarket mount, doesn't have a place to put that fur clip in. I don't want any of this extra cable just dangling around. So I'm just tying up the slack, essentially, is what's going on here. In this video, I go and install the speaker right in with that bracket that seats in the bottom, forgetting to cut away that extra piece of cable tie. I take it out later and I fix that. But I'm moving all these cables out of the way so I don't crimp any, pushing it up against the door. Take that bolt for the top of the speaker. We'll put it in and we're just going to get it started a couple turns so the speaker doesn't fall out. You poked on something or break. Now we're going to lock this down with a 9/32 bit. Remember, this is plastic, so all we're going to do is we're going to snug it down. We're not going to try and break anything. Before we continue, we'll make sure that the speaker works with a nice YouTube-friendly song. Call this Static and Tinnitus in A minor. We'll be assembling the panel back on the door. I find it easier to open the window for this task. And we'll start by putting the door lock back through the hole on the door panel. And on the other side, clearing the mirror adjustment if applicable. There's a ridge right here that everything sort of rests into and supports the top of the door panel on. You can see it pivoting. As I push the armrest in, you can see the two screw holes line up. I'm putting the screws back in. You really should be putting in the one on the other side first, the one with the round hole, as that one lines up the other one, but it really doesn't matter as long as they're both centered. These are followed by the screw that goes in behind the door handle. The fur clips that surround the perimeter of the door are then snapped into place, starting from the inner and then the bottom. The outer side has these pins. They're pushed in and then snapped in from the middle. There are two of them. This is for the bottom. Then we have this panel that covers the two screws, followed by the other panel in the door handle. And finally, the molding for the side mirror that snaps on. This will need to be readjusted. Once completed, the exact same procedure will also be done for the passenger side door if necessary to replace that speaker. And that concludes replacing these Cobalt speakers in the front, these OEM speakers with aftermarket speakers. I hope you found it entertaining, informative, and helpful. Hit that like button down below. It helps me out a lot when you do. Hit that subscribe button to be notified when more videos like this come out. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Would you like to reply?